Another day, another mod for the Ford Raptor. Now this one I am so excited about, guys. This is a first part of something so exciting. It will be linked at the top of the description. They did send it out to me for free, but it's going to be an honest review as usual, and I will be running it here on the F-150 on my daily truck. So this one is, like I said, you probably already saw by the thumbnail. Let's just go ahead and drop the tailgate on the old girl here. Use this as a nice little workbench. One of the favorite features about having one of these trucks, is having a truck in general. You get a workbench built right in. So guys, this is what we're working with here. Let's go ahead and head up to the front of the truck first, and just go ahead and take a quick little gander at what we're looking at. So you guys know the F-150 Raptors come with these nice big paddle shifters, which I'm not gonna lie, they're not that bad. You guys know I'm coming from a Mopar, I'm coming from a Scat Pack and SRT and those kind of vehicles, so these are definitely a lot better than those. You can see they come out the top, they come out the bottom. They're almost like a Lamborghini Huracan size. Like they're big. You hear them, they're fairly clunky. I don't think that they feel the best. They look okay, but today, guys, we are going to be replacing those. Now, we have the carbon fiber package here on the old Raptor. So you got the carbon down here, carbon here. We need to match that here. And of course, if I'm doing this, then there's something else coming. So if you're watching this video when it comes out, then just know in probably 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 days from now, there will be another video where we will maybe changing something else along the lines of this whole entire thing is maybe gonna change. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. So check that video out. If you are watching this any later, then definitely check that video out up here or wherever. It's probably in the related videos, but definitely check that out, as a second step. But we're gonna go through and show you what it's like to change these bad boys out and put some nice carbon fiber paddles. So let's go ahead and run to the back and check out what these look like, because I looked at them very, very briefly and they felt pretty nice, but like I said, who knows, right? So you got your different paddles here that come inside the box. Basic, nice metal. It's like a machined aluminum or something like that. But listen to this click. I hope that they sound like that once they actually get on the truck, because that sounds pretty cool to me. Has like a nice click to it. And then here's our actual paddles that are gonna get screwed in. See if we can hold them up, maybe get a little bit of light on them. There we go, look at that. Nice carbon fiber, which should hopefully match the other carbon in the truck, which is the intention, right? We want that to all match, of course. So you can see here, carbon and carbon. It's pretty close on the weave, which is nice. I think they look really good and they're gonna look pretty sick. This one is the plus, so it's gonna go over here so you guys can kind of get a rough idea of what we're working with there. It's gonna look pretty sweet. I like how they look. They feel pretty good. And yeah, I guess we won't really know until we obviously hook them up in the truck. But yeah, this could be the start of something very exciting, like I said. Now, to install these, it does kind of suck. I'm not gonna lie. You gotta disconnect the battery. We gotta take the airbag out, do a whole bunch of stuff. So like I said, if we are doing another video on the same kind of subject, there may be a little bit of work between the two. So we're gonna go ahead and start by disconnecting the negative terminal on the battery, because that's always the number one. You guys know I'm never gonna go super in depth and go 110% of every single step that you're gonna do. So if you wanna watch one of those install videos, definitely I'll link one down below or something where they go super in depth and all the details. But we are gonna go ahead and get these put on, and I'm gonna show you the before and the after, and hopefully it's exciting. So now, like I said, we gotta go under the hood and actually pop open the hood and actually take that negative terminal off the battery. Now, I'm not sure exactly what size I need. I didn't hear that thing really pop too well, which is never a good sign. But this is what we're working with, right? We got our battery here. We got a super smart battery over here, whatever this thing's going on here. And we're just going to disconnect this negative terminal here. Should be pretty straightforward and simple. Is anything ever? No, but we are gonna go ahead and try it and see what happens. What are the odds here that we got another little 10 mil action going on as usual? So we're just gonna get that loosened up, I believe, and that should let it kind of rock off of there. And there we go, set that to the side. Negative terminal is disconnected, and realistically we should be safe to do our mod now. As usual, change of plans. I'm gonna actually go and see if I can find a tool to go ahead and pop the airbag, because that's gonna be the worst part. If you guys have ever had to do anything like this with the steering wheel, or you ever start doing a mod where you're removing the airbag, you're gonna know that this part sucks. So I'm gonna do this first and see what we can find. I wanna assume maybe down here I've got like some, yeah, this is what I was thinking. Maybe one of these might be long enough. You realistically just want something long and thin. I don't know if these are even gonna work, honestly, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I do not have punches. So I have what I have, and I'm gonna try and do that. But basically what you have to do is just remove the airbag. I'll show you guys how to do it here in a second. It's not fun. But I don't know if these are gonna work. Now, basically this one should work. I don't even know what size this is. Maybe a 1/8, I'm not even sure, but it's just gonna go in there. But basically in the paddle shifter here in the back, see if we can get you a better view. Essentially, there's a little hole right here that you're gonna slide this into. I'm sure you guys have seen this a million different times on different vehicles, but basically you just have to push straight in. There is like a guide in this one, which is actually a little bit nice. And you basically just have to push in and pop that to get the pin, and then you can kind of pull this to the side a little bit and it should release. Is it gonna be fun? No. I'm always worried because I'm like, what if the airbag goes off? That would really, really suck. The content would probably be good for you guys. You guys might actually enjoy it if that happened. But yeah, essentially we're gonna do that on both sides, get the airbag off, and then we can start disconnecting and actually moving on to the next step, which is where things get a little bit more exciting. All right, good news. I can feel that the left side has started to pop off. See if we can't get in here and get the right side to do the same now. Okay, looks like we have some action here. All right, and just like that, this was actually one of the easiest removals of an airbag I've ever done, which is really exciting. Now, once it comes out, don't just try and yank it. I've had that issue before. So essentially we've got some plugs here that are color coordinated, which is perfect. And basically what we have to do is disconnect those. And then on the left side, you'll see there's a couple other little plugs that we need to disconnect on the airbag. So to do this, you just need a flathead, pop this up on both sides, pop them each out, and then same thing over here, just kind of pry it out and then pull it out of the little holders. And those are the main connectors. Now, if you do have a heated steering wheel, that's gonna be down here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see it, but hopefully you can. Down here at the bottom, this one is going to be for your heated steering wheel. And then off to the right side, you got your paddle one, and you also have the other one over here. And then of course, just your main harness up at the top. So once we get the airbag out, we can start working on those other harnesses, and then we can pop this big old bolt, which I want to say is like a 24 mil. We can go ahead and pop that baby out, and then we try not to move the steering wheel. That's the goal after that, which you guys know I never have good luck with any of this.
Soon after.
The main connectors on the airbag are out, super simple. And then we gotta try and pop these other two little weird connectors up and out, which again, should not be too big of a deal, hopefully. Now for the fun part is we need to get in here and start disconnecting stuff. So we need to keep an eye on where things go, of course. So I'm keeping this video, of course, which is gonna be helpful for me. But essentially we got a clip up here at the top, which is our main harness, which should just have a little clip at the top that you squeeze down and then pull it out. There we go, there's that main harness. And then we've got this one off to the right side, which I think has something to do with these buttons, I would assume, or the paddles. Now this one we could probably just leave intact where it is. Let's see what else we got. We got the paddle ones over here in the bottom, which I think you have to reach into the back, which seems like a headache. So let me go ahead and see if I can get these done. Now I think everything is disconnected at this point, so we should be good to actually remove the steering wheel. I'm assuming you might be able to maybe get in, I don't know, but you maybe could get the paddles off without taking it apart, but I'm just gonna take the whole steering wheel off to do this because I don't really know if there's another way. And the steering wheel is pretty beat anyway. Subtle foreshadowing, maybe not so subtle, but we are gonna go ahead and pop this off. 24 mil, I believe, so let's see. So yeah, it's a 24 mil, which is the strangest size, right? And I wish I could say that this thing was just right on hand. You can see my whole toolkit here goes up to 22, which is pretty standard. I had this nice little Walmart brand set, and of course, what size is missing? 24 millimeter, but luckily I found it because I was about to be pretty freaking pissed. So let me see here. It looks like it's a pretty big drive, so let's grab a ratchet and see if we can't pop the steering wheel off. And I don't know, hopefully it's not stuck and I hit myself in the face. That would be pretty good content, right? Now, I've never had to actually remove a full steering wheel before, so this is gonna be my first time, so you guys are gonna experience it with me. Essentially, I think we should just be able to, oh great, I need an extension. Okay, so it's broken loose. I almost hurt myself. And then from there, I'm essentially just gonna loosen it a bit. I don't wanna go all the way yet. I saw this little trick. You kinda wiggle it first and then we're good. Now we don't wanna move the steering column, right? We don't wanna turn that nut, or we wanna unscrew it, but we don't wanna turn that bolt at all because that's what will cause it to, you know, be misaligned when we go to reconnect our steering wheel. So take this bolt out and the washer. Okay, there she is. So you can see what it looks like, the bolt. I'm gonna set it there for safekeeping. And let's take a look from this end. So you can see there, it's kind of got a squared off end around it so you can kind of know where it needs to line up. And I'm gonna carefully with two hands take this straight out so I don't mess anything up and try to keep the wires as straight back as possible. possible. And there we go. There's our steering wheel. This is what a Ford Raptor steering wheel looks like. Now I am pretty excited to take this thing off. You can see we're gonna go ahead and head to the back of the truck and start swapping out these paddle shifters with our new carbon ones. So now, unfortunately for me, but maybe fortunately for you, my camera died. But basically, you're just gonna pop that baby off. You see, here's our right paddle, what it looks like, plug, all that good stuff, where it connects. So we're gonna set that off to the side. This is our inside screw, and then we had the two on the back on the outside, which are right here. And then we're just gonna do the same thing for the left side with our little ratchet here. Pop in this panel and get into this other screw for the left paddle. So now you can see this is our this is our new paddle shifter. This is our old paddle shifter for the left. So you can see kind of what it looks like as far as where it's gonna mount and everything, kind of what the mounting points are gonna look like. And then you can see the wiring harness is slightly different. But basically what we're gonna do is grab our left paddle here, which should be our minus, or our downshift paddle, I should say. And we're gonna figure out how we're gonna mount this. So I think it's supposed to go onto the back like that. So I'm gonna disconnect these and then we'll hook it up. It does look like there's a little bit of adjustment that you can make as far as, you know, where you want to kind of position them on the screws, which is nice. You know, if you wanted them to tilt this way or kind of whatever your preference was. I'm just gonna kind of max them out at the bottom of the screws, just like this. That way they sit as far out as possible. I think that's probably the best for me, but you can always go back and adjust them later. But you can hear there's a lot more click to it. It is a magnetic paddle, so there is a magnet in here that resets, versus these ones where they're just kind of plasticky and just kind of a cheap click, where this one's actually got some click to it, which is nice. I'm gonna get these nice and tight, and then we can go ahead and pop them back into the steering wheel, see how it looks, and put it all back together. Now you can kind of see what the fit looks like on the back here. It's nice and snug and everything. So I'm gonna actually start with the screws on the back, just because I think that these will hold it in a little bit easier for me to be able to get the front screw in without fighting with the panel piece. So I'm gonna go ahead and line these up and then tighten in these screws and then flip it over and do the inside screw. And like I said, we're just buttoning it back together and putting it back. Now you can kind of get an idea of what we're looking like here with the paddles versus the other ones. I think they sound a little bit better. They're a little bit more of a tactile feel, but I think they look better, which is good. And like I said, as we continue to do mods, I think those are gonna blend nicely with the other ones. So yeah, that's essentially how you swap out the paddle shifters and put these new ones on. Like I said, all you're gonna do is go ahead and reconnect up all your different plugs here. You've got your new paddle shifter one, which is coming through here on the side, which will get connected up to the harness on the side over here, just like you did before when you disconnected the other ones. Like I said, super straightforward, super basic, right? We're just gonna reconnect everything back together. Here's the little paddle harness that we're actually gonna connect to from this one, and these two are gonna go together. That's your right paddle shifter. It's that easy. So I'm gonna make my life a little bit easier, and like I said, I'm actually gonna be doing another little mod here. So if you wanna see kind of the full breakdown, rather than having to put this thing back and, you know, kind of fake it for the video, I'm just gonna end it there and show you that's how you remove the paddle shifters. If you are doing a steering wheel, essentially you're just gonna take those and put them on the new one, take all this off and put it on the new one. That may be what we're doing here. I'm not gonna confirm or deny at this point, but yeah, we are gonna have to cut these little guys. But anyways, check out the next video if you haven't already, but let me know what you think down below about these. Like I said, check them out on Amazon. I think they're pretty good. They seem like they're actually really good quality, which I'm not like super surprised, because they're a decent price point. They're not super cheap, but they definitely are an upgrade from the original paddles, which are all very plasticky in the back end and not a great click feel to them. So if you do want to check them out, top of the description. Shout out to those guys for sending them over to me. And of course, comment down below what you guys think. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you click the subscribe button down below right now to be notified when new videos go live. New videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday here on the channel. And of course, like this video if you haven't already. And there's a new thing where you can hype the video or something like that. So make sure you hit that hype button so it helps, you know, get the video out to more people and get more videos just like this one. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next video.
I only got one life, I'm trying to live my shit. Minding my business as usual, I don't want nothing to do with the outside. How about the whip with a beautiful bitch? I've been too busy thinking about mine. Don't care what you be doing, I've been too busy thinking about mine. Back then shit was too bad, I was on the wrong path going too fast. Used to let the plug house holding too